last few years of us streaming them.
81.
Wattimena does have the upper hand in this. Over in the other semi-final, it is Michael van Gerwen, no surprise there, the world #1, unbeaten in 2019, against Scott Baker. New addition to the PDC from the BDO.
57.
Perhaps not the biggest name from the BDO.
Game shot.
Well, he wanted 87. It was 97 that our scoreboard said, but it was 87 that Jermaine wanted. 2-0. Now, what is important to remember, they have changed the rules on the Pro Tour this year.
100.
So it is actually first to 7 in the semi-finals and first to 8 in the final. No longer first to 6 all the way
180.
through. Jermaine Wattimena makes it 2 180s. Now that brings it in line with the European Tour. First to 7 in the semis, first to 8
60.
in the final. And we have seen it make a difference in the past. Remember the very first European Tour they brought it in on.
57.
Peter Wright played Michael van Gerwen. And Peter Wright was the first man to 6 legs, the first man to 7 legs. But the first man to 8 legs was Michael van Gerwen.
60.
He might not be the first man to 7 legs in that other semi-final, though, because Scott Baker is 3-all with him and throwing at double 8
140.
to make it 4-3. That is over on the other streaming board with Chris Murphy, and Scott Baker has gone 4-3 up. Could you imagine we could have a final between
100.
Jermaine Wattimena and Scott Baker? It could be Peter Wright versus Michael van Gerwen.
92.
Nicely set up by Jermaine Wattimena. It is looking like another break of throw. He is averaging around about the 110 mark. Now, 110 for Michael Smith was still not good enough to beat Peter Wright in the quarterfinals. Oh, what's that bounced out of?
Game shot.
It doesn't matter because Jermaine Wattimena has just piled the last dart into the double 16. 3-0. A snake bite as a munch on his flights.
59. $140.
Well, Peter Wright, one of the things that has been noticeable
100
so far this year, and I know we haven't had many tournaments. We've had the Masters in Milton Keynes, we had the opening night of the Premier League, and of course we've had this one here, the first Pro Tour event of the year. He has been starting
60.
games very, very slowly. Once he finds his range, he can play some world-class stuff.
58.
We saw it against Rob Cross. He nearly won that game after losing the first couple of legs and looking very, very average against Rob Cross in the Premier League on Thursday night.
80.
We saw him concede leads and then come back and win in the Masters. We've seen him do it here today.
134.
So he should feel confident that he can get back into this game, particularly with a slightly longer format. But it will be a concern for Peter Wright that Jermaine Wattimena is averaging in excess of 100.
110.
Great set-up shot from Jermaine Wattimena. And he is going to get a dart for 4-0. Now, it's not only that heartbreaking
140
defeat in the semi-finals
game
of
shot
the tour event last year that Jermaine Wattimena will have stuck in his head. He will have his record against Peter Wright stuck in his head because it is a dreadful record. He has only beaten him once. It was 2.5 years ago. He has lost 9 times, including the last
60.
7. Jermaine Wattimena, since losing in that semi-final, has played Peter Wright twice, both on
100.
telly. He was done 3-0 in the World Grand Prix and 6-0 for the European Championship. He has not even got close to Peter Wright since that last leg decider in one of the biggest games of his PDC career last summer.
91.
But here, he is looking to return the favour and produce not just
60.
a big win against Peter, but a whitewash, unbelievably. If things carry on, Peter Wright's averaging mid-80s, Wattimena's still over the ton.
140.
A bit more like it from Peter Wright.
140.
Michael Van Gerwen has got his nose in front over on the other board. It is 5-4 to MVG. Remember, race
96.
7. Treble 18. Jermaine Wattimena has a chance for a third break of throw.
54.
This surely would spell the end. Double top. Oh, the machine gun. It is relentless. 105 checkout. And Peter Wright, a man who has won 7 on the spin against this Dutchman, is getting absolutely cut apart by Wattimena.
$59. 85.
Baker has levelled at 5-all with Van Gerwen and kicked off ton 40. He has the darts. He is 2 holds of throw away, Scott Baker, from
99.
beating the world #1 in his first ever PDC tournament and making it through to the final. And right now, it is difficult to
98.
see how he is going to face anyone else other than Jermaine Wattimena, because Peter Wright, having just averaged 111 in an incredible display against Michael Smith.
140.
Well, he looks like a different player. Good, didn't it? Splits it. And hits
Game
it.
shot.
Peter Wright gets a leg on the board. And it is a break of throw as well. 2 darts missed for a 6-0 lead. Surely not. Surely this is not the start of an incredible comeback. Is it?
93. 59. 140. 140.
Needs to make sure he leaves a finish here, Peter. Well, he's going to do that.
180.
Of 88. That is a superb visit. His first maximum of the match, Peter Wright. And as we saw in the Premier
92.
League against Rob Cross, it takes him a little while to get something right. But once it does, it's like he solved the problem and he starts playing properly again.
Game shot.
That's a 12-darter. And all of a sudden, Peter Wright looks an entirely different proposition from the man that Jermaine Wattimena was facing for the first 5.5 legs.
140.
It may not matter, though, because Wattimena is still averaging just shy of 100. But will he be able to get over the line? I can tell you that Michael Van Gerwen has got over the line. He has won that 7-5 against Scott Baker, whose
21.
run in his first ever PDC tournament comes to an end in the semi-finals. But what a debut it has been for the man from Tipton. Magnificent stuff.
43.
The world #1's unbeaten run continues. He awaits the winner in the final. It looked like Jermaine Wattimena was nailed on for it. He still may
99. 80.
Jermaine has never made a PDC ranking final. Back-to-back semis in the same weekend here in Wigan.
100.
Back in June last year. That was the Jermaine Wattimena playing the best stuff we've seen from him. He had made a semi-final before in Barnsley, 2017, and another one earlier that year in Barnsley. But every single time he's been denied a spot in the final.
60.
That's only 60, and Wattimena is going to get match darts. It's a question of how many he gets and how many he needs. Oh, hello. Hello, Jermaine. Oh.
Oh, no. Sorry. Guys.
That's only 6-2. We've got another one to go. So they need telling. We've all been taken in by this. It is only 6-2, Jermaine. This was announced at the start of the day, and I have to say, the PDC haven't made a big deal of it. And some of the players weren't aware. And certainly Peter Wright wasn't aware.
Your start. He did mention it at the start, but all right.
So we've shaken hands to end the game. We're shaking hands to restart the game. That's only 6-2.
$100.
Well, you know what? Stranger things have happened where something like that.
140.
Well, I was going to say it might put Jermaine off his stride, but in actual fact, he's just piled in a 140 straight away.
$97.
Well, this is very, very
139.
Wattimena. When you consider he's never made a ranking final, and he thought he'd just done it for a moment, shaking hands.
61. $58. $140.
Surely not. Well, it isn't going to be.
132.
Checkout that denied Wattimena a spot in his first final from Peter Wright here in Wigan last year. He can't win it with one himself. 17s. This
87.
is match darts. This is definitely match darts for Jermaine Wattimena. And is
Game
it there?
shot and the match.
And that is, he asked the question, and this time they've got it. Jermaine Wattimena, at the 5th time of asking, makes a PDC final, gets through the semis. He has exercised some demons. The men who denied him last year, Ian White and Peter Wright, both beaten in his run to the final today. It is the top player in the world, though, Michael van Gerwen, who awaits. That is our final. It's an all-Dutch affair. The machine...